What's going on there, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Now, ladies and gentlemen, today I actually had a video planned for you guys that is going to be about the map designs, and probably not what you guys are expecting. I know the hottest topic is the sizes of the overall Battlefield 6 maps, but I have a little something different on my mind. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, before we go and dive deep, if you guys are interested in more content like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. Post twice here, once at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, and also a second time at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So of course, subscribe and hit that bell. And if you guys are interested in any of my live streams, I do stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, if you guys are interested, go link that channel down in the description of this video. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, as I was saying, when it comes down to the maps within Battlefield 6, I think the biggest criticism right now is the size. Although, from what I see, a lot of the maps coming, at the official launch that we didn't try in beta are looking really solid. And for me personally, I think the overall variety that we have at launch is going to be amazing, if I'm going to be completely real. And also going into Season 1, we also saw some of those maps leaked, and whew, let me tell you, they look even better. But there are a few things that I would love to see introduced sometime down the road. Actually, a couple of things that I have on the top of my mind. The first thing is night operations. As you can see right here from a silly sausage, will we see Battlefield 4 night ops return in Battlefield 6? This is something that I thought would be absolutely out-frickin' Now, I kind of understand that we have shifted away from just naturally putting in night maps, but I mentioned this a little while ago. I wanted to see weather, whether it's rain, a sandstorm, so on and so forth, just weather effects that kind of gradually come and go between matches. But I would also love to see basically the time of day shift. So, of course, you could start off maybe in the afternoon and go into night, maybe the morning and go into the afternoon, or, watch the sunset come down, so on and so forth. I think that would be absolutely phenomenal when it comes to the overall Battlefield 6 experience. It would add a lot more atmosphere and replayability when it comes to the overall map layouts. Now, this is a great concept, but I would still love to see them just go pitch black with some of these maps. Not all of them, of course, and this is why I think that having, one or two maps that are designed around like the night ops mentality would be phenomenal, because yes, having night, kind of phase its way into certain maps in the rotation will be cool and all, but 9 times out of 10, it's not that dark. As I stated, I know this is going to be a very unpopular opinion, and you guys can roast me as much as you want down in the comment section, or if you agree, by all means, tell me why you agree. But as I stated before, think that at least one singular map should be pretty dang dark. I mean, thermals might be, a little bit more handy. Maybe even making a flashlight attachment to, add to the overall vibes of that map and making it more mandatory to use. Oh, man, I'm telling you, I think something like that, at least one experience, would go so hard. And I know it probably won't get picked that much from my, personal experience playing other games. Every single time a super dark map is added into the rotation, it's never selected. But again, this is the whole purpose of this channel, to share my personal opinions, whether people agree or disagree, and I just wanted to share that one with you guys because I thought that would be a phenomenal concept to see sometime down the road within the Battlefield 6 universe. But ladies and gentlemen, let me be honest here. I know a lot of people aren't going to agree with that statement, but I think the one that I'm about to say now is going to be something that I think a lot of people would personally love to see within Battlefield 6. Again, a lot of the maps that we have played on so far, and everything that we have actually seen, is all based on land. Basically all ground vehicles, helicopters, so on and so forth. But what we haven't seen within the multiplayer experience so far is any type of naval combat. And that, to me personally, is such a big missed opportunity, especially going ahead and putting a game together that takes place, modern day. This would be phenomenal to see within the Battlefield 6 universe. And I think it's something they don't even have to rush into the game, but, just like how they handled Battlefield 4, if they could just, put together a specific DLC, a season, I should probably say, that is dedicated to naval combat, would be so freaking awesome to see. And I understand it might not be that popular either because, naval combat with Battlefield 4 was a little interesting. And of course, we saw some naval combat with Battlefield 5, but let's be real, it wasn't anything crazy. It was very, very small. The biggest, naval combat that we've seen since Battlefield 4 was probably Battlefield 1, but in all reality, that was a World War I game, so we didn't really see too much. But modern day, when it comes to naval combat, we're going to see a lot more variety, right? There's a lot more things that could be going on, a lot more, vehicles that could actually be introduced into the game. We could see a lot of that, again, variety introduced into Battlefield 6. But as I stated before, Battlefield 4 had a little bit of a balancing problem when you would be able to put together a very solid squad. People who actually wanted to go ahead and repair the actual boat itself, so on and so forth. It became kind of a nuisance, and I understand that that kind of left a bad taste in people's mouths. But I'll be real, I think that DICE will be able to find a way to balance this out, right? I mean, that was years and years and years and years ago. And I think that the team has enough knowledge and resources, and also some really talented devs leading the charge right now, that, something like naval combat will probably be a lot more balanced, especially if it was in their scope when it comes to putting together Battlefield 6. But that worries me. Was it in their scope putting together Battlefield 6? Because as I stated before, we haven't seen any map really with any type of water. I mean, I think the New York City map is going to have a tiny bit of water, but still absolutely no boat access whatsoever. It's just going to be tanks and helicopters. And same goes for every single map that we have seen so far, every map that's going to be coming out at launch that we haven't gotten to play in the beta, and even when it comes down to the Season 1 maps, there's absolutely no water whatsoever. But I will say, what gives me a little bit of hope is seeing that in the Battle Royale experience, there are jet skis. So there is going to be water vehicles within Battlefield 6, and there's no way they put together jet skis just to incorporate into the Battle Royale experience. That is a whole asset. And it's a whole, form of, I guess, code you could probably call it. Whatever I'm not a game dev, so I don't know. Development, whatever you want to call, what they had to do to put together all the commands, controls, so on and so forth to make sure a jet ski would work properly within the Battlefield experience. There's no way they coded that all out just to work within Battle Royale, right? That asset is in the game, and I am 9 times out of 10 positive that we'll probably be seeing that introduced into the multiplayer experience. But the question is, when and how, and also how far will they go when it comes to introducing naval combat? Will we just be seeing jet skis and jet skis only, or will they actually branch out and give us that variety? But as I stated before, I feel like they should save it for a naval style of season. They could dedicate each season to a specific style of military combat. And I think having a whole, season dedicated to naval combat would be phenomenal, adding in a ton of different vehicles, a ton of different game modes. Shoot, please, I know this might be a little unpopular because I know this was kind of, a mixed game mode, but even bring back carrier assault. I'll be completely down for that. I think it was still a really cool game mode. It could be a little lopsided at times and kind of obnoxious, but it'll still very interesting, intriguing, and fun to play at the end of the day. I would love to see something like that introduced into Battlefield 6. I don't know. In my personal opinion, I feel like if they have no naval combat whatsoever within the overall experience, they are missing out on so much untapped potential. And for me personally, I don't know about you guys, but for me, that would absolutely complete the overall experience. So far, I am so happy with everything they have presented to us. All the different types of combat, all the different types of, combat roles, vehicles that we have access to. We pretty much have everything we could ask for. And again, there's more vehicles coming, later after launch. No naval combat, sadly not being guaranteed just yet, but, more helicopters and such are going to be introduced later on down the road. It's already guaranteed. So, they already have such an awesome experience put together, but I'm telling you, if they just added in naval combat and added in some boats and some maps that would actually support such a thing, that would literally complete the overall Battlefield 6 experience, and I would not be able to think of anything else wrong with the overall game. You would literally have something that would satisfy everyone out there, no matter what they're looking for. And along with having, Portal in play here and being able to customize your own maps, I mean, shoot, if they just gave us a map that was more water-based, I guarantee the community could probably put together their own game mode that's like carrier assault and just do it on their own. The devs don't even have to put in the work to do such. I mean, you could probably even go ahead and do it on the BR map. Who knows? You see, and that's the thing about it. Who knows what is possible? I'm sitting here talking about all this stuff and hoping that DICE puts it together, but they might not have to. The community themselves might be able to do such a thing. Will it be as good? Maybe not, because we don't actually have, boats and stuff, the assets in the game to, allow players to insert that into a map within Portal. But still, they could probably come up with some idea, some concept. And as I said before, if DICE does decide to incorporate more naval combat and naval vehicles, that would only make it better and better and better, especially for the community being able to put together their own masterpieces. But ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much all I have for you guys. I just want to hear what you guys have to think about, naval combat and also nighttime missions. And again, I'm all for having the time of day change and shift throughout a match. And I think that would be phenomenal if they could actually introduce that into Battlefield 6. I don't see why they couldn't, I feel like that's been a feature, especially with weather, for ages now. So not having that in Battlefield 6 would be very strange. But forget about the time of day shifting. What about just maps that are literally made for nighttime battle, right? Like absolutely dark outside. Yeah, you're going to need different types of equipment to be able to combat your opponents efficiently. I feel like that would be so cool. And again, they don't have to do 50,000 maps like this in the rotation. They could just do one singular map like this, and I think that would be enough for the community to get that taste, to try it out, see if they like it, see if they don't like it. And for people who do enjoy that, they can still enjoy it while the whole game isn't being littered with that stuff to ruin the experience for everyone else. Overall, I would just love to hear what you guys have to say about all these ideas. But as always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post twice here, once at 8 a.m. and the second time at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So, of course, subscribe and hit that bell so you stay notified on everything that goes live. And also, last but not least, I do stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, if you guys are interested, I'll link that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.